Rebel Ridge is one of those thrillers that grabs you by the throat and doesn't let go. But beneath the intense chase sequences and explosive action, there's a lot going on that may have slipped right under your radar. At first glance, this might seem like a simple cat-and-mouse chase between our lead and his enemies, but Jeremy Saulnier has a way of embedding deeper meanings into his character's actions. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface, a lot more to unpack. So, buckle up because in this video, we're diving deep into Rebel Ridge to uncover the hidden details and subtle nuances that make this film a modern masterpiece. One of the most overlooked aspects of Rebel Ridge is the setting itself. The rural landscapes in this film aren't just a backdrop, they're a key player in the story. Saulnier uses isolation to reflect his character's internal struggles. Our protagonist isn't just physically lost in the woods, he's morally lost too. The dense forests symbolize his entrapment in a corrupt world. Open spaces offer fleeting moments of clarity and hope. The landscape mirrors the protagonist's state of mind, a constant push and pull between hope and despair. It's not just about the external chase, it's about the internal struggle. Saulnier uses the landscape as a mirror, reflecting the protagonist's inner turmoil. Rebel Ridge is more than just a white-knuckle thriller. It's deeply critical of the systems of power that govern our lives. Saulnier shines a light on the dark underbelly of authority with unflinching precision. Authority figures in the film are portrayed with an underlying current of corruption. The police are bullies in uniform, more interested in power than justice. Bureaucrats are pulling the strings from behind the scenes, representing systemic corruption. Saulnier holds up a mirror to the world we live in, showing that the lines between right and wrong aren't always clear. The fight for survival isn't always against a clear enemy. Sometimes it's against the very systems that are supposed to protect us. This isn't just a story about one man's struggle, it's a reflection of the struggles faced by countless individuals. Rebel Ridge is a reminder of the unsettling reality of systemic corruption. Saulnier's characters are never black and white. He gives us flawed, complex, and deeply compromised characters. The protagonist of Rebel Ridge isn't your typical good guy. He's made mistakes and bad decisions that have led him down a dark path. He's haunted by his past, driven by a desperate need to survive. He lies, cheats, and steals, making alliances with shady characters. Saulnier wants us to question our own sense of morality. What would we do in the same situation? Would we hold on to our principles or make compromises to survive? There are no easy answers in Rebel Ridge, no clear-cut good guys. It's a reminder that life is messy, and good and evil are often two sides of the same coin. Sometimes, the only way to survive is to embrace the darkness within yourself. Saulnier's not just a director, he's a visual storyteller. He uses color to evoke mood and emotion. The film's color palette shifts subtly as the story progresses. Early on, we see cool, calming colors representing a sense of control. As the protagonist gets pulled deeper into the conspiracy, the colors shift to reds and browns, evoking danger. Lighting is equally important, often shrouding characters in shadow to create paranoia. Moments of harsh, unforgiving light during scenes of violence are jarring and disorienting. Saulnier uses handheld camera work to create a sense of immediacy and realism. We're right there with the protagonist, feeling every bump in the road. This isn't just filmmaking, it's visual poetry. Saulnier uses every tool at his disposal to create a world that's both beautiful and terrifying. Rebel Ridge draws you in and doesn't let go. The sound of silence, tension and atmosphere. Sometimes the most effective way to build tension is to shut the hell up. Saulnier understands the power of silence. Throughout Rebel Ridge, moments of silence are filled with dread and anticipation. Saulnier uses sound design to amplify every little sound, making us hyper-aware of our surroundings. We're on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Action sequences are brutal and visceral, with sound playing a crucial role. The punches land with a sickening thud, and the gunshots are deafening. The screams of the wounded linger long after the fight is over. It's a visceral experience that stays with you long after the credits roll. But it's the silence that truly gets to you. The silence elevates Rebel Ridge to a whole other level of suspense and psychological terror. Scars you can't see. Trauma and PTSD in Rebel Ridge. Rebel Ridge explores trauma and the invisible scars that violence leaves behind. The protagonist is battling external forces and at war with himself. He's carrying a lot of pain that keeps bubbling up to the surface. Subtle hints suggest the protagonist is suffering from PTSD. He has flashbacks and nightmares, and there's a constant sense of unease about him. These moments are crucial to understanding the protagonist's motivations. He's trapped in a cycle of pain and self-destruction. Saulnier presents a portrait of a man struggling to cope with the invisible wounds of trauma. It's a struggle that's all too real for many people in the real world. Rebel Ridge is a powerful exploration of trauma and its impact. No happy endings, the ironic twist. Let's talk about that ending. Saulnier doesn't give you easy answers, he leaves you with more questions than answers. The ending of Rebel Ridge is ironic in the most Saulnier way possible. Our protagonist ends up right back where he started. He becomes part of the very system he was trying to escape. It's a bleak and cynical ending, but it's also incredibly fitting. It's a reminder that sometimes, no matter how hard you fight, you can't outrun your destiny. The system is designed to break you, to grind you down. Rebel Ridge is a story about the futility of hope. Saulnier isn't interested in giving us what we want. He's interested in showing us what we need to see. Sometimes what we need to see is the ugly truth, even if it hurts. Outro, the legacy of Rebel Ridge. Rebel Ridge is more than just an action-packed thriller. It's a layered narrative about survival, corruption, and the blurred lines between right and wrong. It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll, its images seared into your memory, its themes echoing in your mind. Saulnier has a way of getting under your skin, of making you question everything you thought you knew. His films are not for the faint of heart, but they are rewarding for those willing to take the journey. So the next time you watch Rebel Ridge, remember, it's what's lurking beneath the surface that really makes this film shine. Pay attention to the details, the subtle nuances, the things that most viewers miss. You might be surprised at what you discover.